guys.
Yep. Nickelback song and everything.
Ooh, why would you even bring that up?
Isn't that who sings that song?
It unfortunately is.
Been a while. And a Spider-Man. Something about a Spider-Man will save us.
All we do is movies.
All we do is movies. I'm Donnie, if you forgot.
I'm Noelle. You won't forget.
That's actually Joelle, her cousin, that
Just
showed up after she got murdered.
wrapped in plastic.
Yep. So she's different looking, but looks the same.
And acts the same.
Yep.
So
Just the same actor, maybe.
who knows? Anyway, we watched recently.
We went on that HBO because there's no movies out anymore besides those crazy rich Asians.
Which we didn't watch, but we mean to.
Didn't watch it yet, but we have to, as our cultural, appropriation will dictate that we need to see it, or
Okay.
else you're racist.
But he's drawing it out. We watched A Cure for Wellness.
We did watch A Cure for Wellness,
A
HBO.
Cure for Wellness.
We wanted to see this like 5 years ago.
We didn't.
Yeah, it came out, and then everyone decided not to watch it. So then I guess it went out of theaters, and we didn't get to see it.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why no one really watched it.
Why?
We're jumping the gun.
Okay, but anyway, Cure for Wellness, it's on HBO. It's Gore Verbinski.
Also known for Pirates of the Caribbean, my
he
first favorite film.
What? No Johnny Depp in this one, shockingly. I thought he
Nah.
might have a cameo, but he didn't.
No Kiera, no Orlando, no who was the guy who played Barbosa? He's really popular. Everyone likes him. Not that guy. He's not in it either. So
I don't know. I forget his name, but anyway.
same.
This is more, it's more like the old Ring Gore Verbinski going here. Remember when he made The Ring?
I like that film.
Yeah, it's a great movie, and then he just made the Pirates movies, and everyone kind of pigeonholed him into making these blockbuster pirate movies, and he said, "Guess what? I'm just going to make a movie no one wants to see," and that's what he did with The Cure for Wellness.
But guess what? Now we do 5 words.
What?
I only have 3, so we'll see how it goes.
All right, ready, go.
Mysterious,
Smooth,
fantastical,
stylish,
stylistic,
stylish,
deep,
long,
but surprising.
expositions, something. Don't need it.
Okay. Anyway, that was it. That was 5 words. We did it. Woohoo!
It might not be 5 words.
It might be more, it might be less.
It's probably less. But anyway, yeah, this movie, spoiler free,
Yeah.
it's definitely stylish. I'll give him that. You're watching this movie and you're like, wow, this Gore Verbinski character may have made a couple movies that cost, I don't know, $100 million in the past. So he kind of knows what's up. So the movie looks pretty sweet. And it feels reminiscent of like something that you might enjoy. It feels like The Ring. It feels like maybe a Shutter Island type film right off the bat, which to its detriment it shouldn't have went for. But then it goes on for like 3 hours.
You know what else it feels like?
What?
It also feels a lot like a movie we have yet to review and we mean to do it. Tusk.
Tusk. Kevin Smith,
Feels
Tusk.
like Tusk.
Spoiler alert, I enjoyed Tusk a lot.
Me too. I really liked it. I was surprised.
Anyway, Cure for Wellness. Dane DeHaan. How do you say his name?
I don't know.
Dane DeHaan. He's
I thought
in
he
there.
was the same guy that was in Valerian.
He is.
Oh, well, I didn't think that was his name. So
His name's Dane DeHaan. Dane
Do I get to
DeHaan.
say my spoiler free yet?
Yeah, sure. Go.
Are you done?
No, I'm never done. But you can say you're spoiler free. I don't care anymore.
Are you sure you're not done?
No.
Okay, well, my spoiler free. This film was good and it looked pretty and it kept you guessing throughout. However,
What's it about? Spoiler free.
oh, okay.
I was gonna get to that, but then I got caught up on Dane DeHaan.
Dane DeHaan. So, Dane DeHaan works at a he's like a lawyer, right? Is that what he does? He works in an office.
He's like in
a city.
finances, isn't he? Some crazy stockbroker dude.
Oh yeah, he's like a stockbroker.
Yeah, he's moving numbers.
Right.
He's shifting
and he's moving
shucking
up,
and jiving, as they say.
moving up in the company.
Moving on up to the east side.
And his goal is from his other board members is to go to this mental hospital and get Pembroke, bring him back because Pembroke has to sign some papers concerning a merger, and if they don't do this merger, then the company's gonna go under.
It's true. Old Pembroke's over in Switzerland, just kind of hanging out in some sort of old castle. And
It's
do we
called
know that's
Bavaria.
That's I don't know.
What I think it's called.
Bavaria?
Bavaria.
I thought it was Switzerland.
No, I think it's in Bavaria.
Well,
So I think it was Switzerland in the movie probably, but the castle is in Bavaria.
Oh God.
I think so. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's it.
Do you think Gore Verbinski lived over there for a while and was like, "Hey, let's film here"?
Probably. I mean, if I was rich, that's where I'd be going.
If I had a name like Gore and a last name like Verbinski, I'd definitely know how to ski.
Okay. Anyway, so this film,
Yes.
he goes to the mental hospital.
Goes to Bavaria.
And the story unfolds. It does a lot of unfolding.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I will say. There's like a lot of unfolding, and it's unfolding.
Yeah, so what you need to know, I guess, he goes there, but then it's a lot more than meets the eye, like Transformers, and he just ends up staying a while.
I thought this was spoiler free.
I mean, I'm not saying anything.
Okay, yeah, he ends up.
He just stays a while at this place that's seemingly a mental health facility or something.
But these bitches are having a great time. Like they're
Well,
playing
that's the
racquetball.
thing.
I know that's the thing. I'm just saying. They don't know that's the thing. I know it's the thing.
All right, well, I think we better get into spoiler territory here because these people get angry and they comment, "Oh, I see all your comments down there."
And then we delete them.
Yeah,
So there are people watching. Don't worry. We just delete the comments. So we don't want you to have to
and we
read them.
and we make sure that the views are cut down by I don't know, like 10,000%.
Yeah, we keep that shit low.
Because I don't want any of that money.
No, and I don't want to want to get too big. I just don't want to do.
Yeah, I don't want Chevy trucks. I don't want no Chevy Equinox money. I don't want no Kia Sportages advertising on my channel.
I want to get my wigs from the flea market
for
$1.
$1.
I
Yeah.
don't want any of that real person.
She didn't even wash it. There could be lice in it.
I just threw it on.
Just threw it on. Yeah, it's a wig. Get used to it. Anyway.
Great. That is such a good wig.
I know. And we're back. Look how versatile this wig is. This is what $1 gets you at a back county state fair.
Gets you a belly full of laughs.
Yeah. We got a cactus, an aloe cactus.
Aloe cactus.
We got one of those. We got a beer.
And a wine.
We got a wine, cool pineapple wine. Noelle is ruining this again. And guess what? There's another episode of the Donnie Thomas Show starring Donnie Thomas. Anyway, I do think that these Labor Day fairs might be racist. A lot of these Chinese people are coming in and selling their wares for $1 a piece. I personally bought some batteries. Oh, and look, here's our aloe plant. Joe, the cat that you know, he's probably going to eat this thing shortly. Noelle showing how Joe will eat it. Anyway, this plant would show up pretty well in A Cure for Wellness, directed by Gore Verbinski.
Gore Verbinski. That's how they would say it at the fair today.
Yeah, they wouldn't let him
Gore
in.
Verbinski, get my Mountain Dew and my inflatable American flag colored gun because I'm 12.
There were assault rifle inflatable guns painted as the American flag. So you know where you're standing here, but we got a wig for $1, so we came out on top. And an aloe plant for some sum of money that was probably too much for an aloe plant. But anyway,
It was like $5 for this plant that comes from the ground. Look
Yeah.
how majestic. How you can tell us so much money?
I know those things they're patient. They're patient and wise. Anyway, Gore Verbinski directing A Cure for Wellness. We didn't see it in theaters.
We saw it in our home theater called the Living Room.
The home box office theater. Dane DeHaan. Guess what? He's chewing Nicorette gum. He's going.
Oh my gosh!
He's
and
on a
that
train. He's
made
chewing that
my
Nicorette.
stomach churn.
I
Because
know.
One time we went to the UFC
We
with
did.
friends, and I decided
Cowboy versus cowboy.
I got a nice shirt, but I decided that I was going to take one Nicorette gum so
It was
I
a 4 milligram Nicorette.
so I could stay awake because I fall asleep so early now, and the UFC was late,
Yeah.
and then I was sick literally the entire night.
Because I told you only take half. Barely take half.
Well, Dane DeHaan is just burning through them.
I know. I even get a little sick when I take the whole thing. That stuff is no joke, but he's just going, oh, I'm on a train. I'm a businessman. He's just powering through these things.
He's like, I don't have time to talk to this train conductor. I'm
Yeah.
an asshole. Mom.
And that's how you know he's a businessman, because he has no time for anyone's feelings.
Correct.
Let alone like the common practice of showing your purchase ticket on a train to show that you belong there.
He also doesn't have any time for his own feelings, and that's why
Yeah.
he's going to Switzerland.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So that's unfolding many different levels to this movie that like seemingly wasn't even expecting that they had those levels to it.
It's kind of like a game that we're both playing called Starbound on the internet, where you can go into caves and then you like dig into caves and there's
Chucklefish, give me money.
Yeah, Chucklefish, good job.
I
Started
see
with
you
Stardew Valley.
over in England.
Did Starbound.
I think Starbound was before Stardew Valley, wasn't
Oh,
it?
I know, but we started with Stardew
Right.
Valley. We didn't start with Starbound.
Well, just give us early access. I'll record it.
To
Chuckle.
Witchbrook, yes, do that. I would
Yeah,
die.
yeah. Let's review it first. I'll put on this wig.
Okay.
I already have, and I will forever, because I look like a pretty girl.
Would you me? You gotta cut that out. I mean, you gotta bleep it. I'm sorry.
You
Wish I
big
had, like, a
fat
cable
girl.
I could put this on.
I know that's that's just good art direction.
So,
Yeah,
say
don't
goodbye, everyone.
don't put it in the foreground. Okay, plant is gone. Anyway, Dane DeHaan.
Dane DeHaan goes to Switzerland and realizes that life is dark and his life is full of secrets.
Yep, the night is dark and full of terrors, as we know Melisandre. She is the best. Anyway, Game of Thrones spoilers coming up later. Stannis Baratheon forever.
Okay, so
Going
no
off the rails.
is watching and no one gives a shit. But
Right.
we're gonna rewatch all of Game of Thrones and review them as well as True Detective because we're obsessed with it. Okay.
Okay, anyway, True Detective Season 3 coming up after Sharp Objects. Great. Anyway, old Dane DeHaan. Not even sure what his Lockhart was his name, his
Yes.
last name. Lockhart.
Lockhart.
He has to go pick up Pembroke, and he has to bring him back to old New York City because they need the
New York City.
and he has to verify some because they don't have the internet in the place, I guess.
Yeah, because you gotta take away the phones. The
I guess.
watches stop working and the laptop cut out.
I get, see, and that's the thing. So they go to this place on a mountain in Bavaria. Is that what he said?
Bavaria.
Yeah, this fictional place known as Bavaria. So they go up to this old mountaintop, and it's this resort for the mega rich because their life's too good, so they think they're going crazy, and they need water.
No, you are.
That's what it's boiled down to.
No, it's a resort for people who feel stressed out and they want to take a fun little vacation but also they want to work on themselves.
Yeah,
So they go to Bavaria in this beautiful area and then they just hang out and they're like, oh my gosh, so the medicine is just water? Wow, I don't have to get hooked on like pills or I don't have to do any kind of like detoxing. Well, I guess it is detoxing. But I drink water and I hang out and I play racquetball and chess and word crosswords.
Right, and that's the thing. So they go there primarily because it's like I'm overworked and my mental health is suffering and I need to chill.
Yeah.
That's the idea, right?
Yeah.
So, because immediately you're like, oh, this is a crazy person facility. Like everyone's dressed in the white thing. It's like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest-esque, crazy person stuff. So immediately, and that's what this movie suffers from, is like there's too many things going on.
I don't think it's a crazy person's facility.
But that's what it's presented as, though.
I think it looks that way because you're supposed to be following Dane DeHaan.
Right.
So through his eyes, it looks like a crazy person's facility.
Yeah.
But through like someone who's there, it just looks like they're wearing clean clothes.
Let him up.
He's not going to do it now. He's embarrassed.
Well, yeah, he is embarrassed.
Because I just
Old
think
Lil.
that it just looks like they get
Lil.
to not have to worry about what they're wearing for the day. They like have their own things. Like they wear bathrobes. We went on a cruise once and wore bathrobes, and everyone looked at us like we were crazy, but we knew we were just wearing bathrobes to the hot tub. So it's like the same thing. If you were in Bavaria on a resort, why would you not just walk around in like a linen dress and a bathrobe all day?
Right, and I wish maybe they would have leaned more into, but how the movie is set up is that it feels immediately like a crazy psych facility.
That's the point.
I understand, but like what it ends up being is something totally different, right? Like, and spoiler, let's just jump to the end and then work back through it.
Okay.
So the movie's actually about this prince from 200 years ago who has this wife or something they're pregnant and he kills, but then keeps the baby, and then the water makes them immortal for 200 years for some reason, and the townsfolk burns down the castle 200 years ago, but he somehow rebuilds it with his daughter, who is able to age, but he doesn't, to the point where he can then be with the daughter.
See, you're
right? Is that not what it was?
I don't think all of it's right. So what you're really missing here is why the townspeople burned the castle down. So as it turns out, the husband, the man of the house,
who is now the director of the facility.
Okay, yeah, but like sure. In the past,
but yes.
In the past, the man of the house is fucking his sister because he wanted to have a pure lineage, and she couldn't give birth because of she was like she had like miscarriages or something. So like whenever she was pregnant, it was like a big deal. And then the townsfolk found out that he was like all into eugenics and stuff, and it was incest. So that's why they burnt the castle down. They didn't just like decide on a whim to burn it down. It was because he was sleeping with his sister.
Where was he in eugenics?
Well, because he wanted
just
to have a pure.
rates.
Yeah, that's why he wanted to have that castle, and he knew the only way to keep his lineage pure was to birth within the family.
I gotcha.
So I mean, I guess that's like eugenics, isn't it?
I guess eugenics is like killing off others to procreate. Like, yeah, it's more Nazi-esque.
Well, I mean, that sounds pretty.
Right. No, I mean, but what you're talking about is like plain old royalty incest, which is that's like common practice.
But if you get back into like the whole idea of the film is like they are just like killing off people anyway, right? So
but that's where it starts to like. So if you take that core idea, right, of immortal somehow through the water,
saline, I think it is.
What?
Well, because so like in the movie, it's not just drinking water. I think it's a salt solution, so that's why everyone is drinking water, but they're still dehydrated.
Vitamins.
Yeah, the vitamins, and then whenever Dane DeHaan takes the vitamins, the only time he does it,
right?
It's like, oh, it tastes like fish or something, but it's because it's salt because they're dehydrated. So they're still drinking water, but I'm thinking that there's salt in the water, and that's why they're all dehydrated. So when you put things in saline solution, it preserves them, right? Like contacts? Isn't that how it goes?
I don't know. You add salt to meat to preserve it.
Well, there you go. So that's why I think that was the whole idea of preserving.
This movie is very. It's one of those movies where everything's super vague, right? And it works well. And then how it's set up is very much so like a Shutter Island type deal, where The inmate that's supposed to just be the outsider is actually One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah, but it's not to that
style.
To that point.
Well, it ends up becoming that, and then it ends up wasting like a ton of time with that plot point of like, well, you're a patient. He's like, I'm not a patient. I'm just getting Mr. Penbrook or whatever. And they're like, no, sir, you got to take your medicine and go lay down. And it's like,
see, I didn't mind that.
No, and I don't mind that, but it's like, okay, so this is the Donnie corner that everyone hates, and he gets angry at me for being like, if I would do this, I would do it this way.
All right.
Because you have such a great structure of a story.
Yeah, gotcha.
And you have super slick director, Gore Verbinski.
Looks very good. We'll get to
not
that.
a chump. That guy is slick. He is a good director. Wow, he's awesome. Dane DeHaan, good actor. Chick, what's her face? Mia Goth, okay actress.
Okay, but
good
we'll
actress.
all that eventually, but
Elements are all there.
Right.
It's all fun.
Yeah.
But why wouldn't you just do like if the crux of the story is immortal baron of a land wants to have sex with his daughter, which is fine. Let's keep that. Let's reveal that the same way. He's been alive for 200 years. We reveal that at the end the same way it's done. And everyone takes me seriously with this wig because I look pretty.
Just keep talking.
Guys,
it's
anyway.
like 90 degrees in Pennsylvania right now.
Whoa.
How is that even? It's September.
You're doxing us
sweating.
right now. Pennsylvania. Anyway, so why wouldn't you keep the same ending and same structure, but then let's just have Dane DeHaan be the same character he is, but he voluntarily wants to go to this resort, spa, getaway thing.
Why?
Because he's overworked. And he just closed on the biggest deal of his life, and everyone's like, and maybe there's a whole scene. It's like, I just closed. He does the whole thing. Everything's the same, but the dialogue is different. He's going away at the train. Nicorette gum. I just closed it. I'm the f***ing man. I did it. And then like, Lockhart, you deserve a vacation. Penbrook is at this place, and he invited you as his guest to go to this ultra secret resort. And he goes, I think I'm going to go. Yeah, why not? I deserve it. And then he goes and he's super smug about it and everything. And then the mystery goes from there. Like he thinks all is normal, but then unearths this like immortal 200-year-old. Like that's a crazy story. Just keep developing from that. But what they have to do, because they've seen it done before, and someone probably pigeonholed and added text later to the script of being like, well, no, let's make it so like he's kind of crazy and he is there, but he shouldn't be there, and it's kind of sloppy. And that's the only thing that I don't like is that it feels sloppy. That just let him be a guest there, just let him voluntarily go, but then him uncover all this stuff, and it's still a very fun mystery drama semi-horror thing. He can still lose his teeth and be manipulated by all these weird weird treatments and things like that, and the isolation tank and the eels and everything else. It can all be the same, but like just the thing of like, is he or isn't he? Like they spend a ton of the movie just being like, whoa, wait, you always have been a patient here, Lockhart. And it's like, no, he hasn't. And it's revealed, no, he hasn't. He's only been here for like 4 days.
Did they actually say that? 'Cause I don't remember them saying that.
They did, but because they're like, it's revealed because his co-workers show up. They're like, we haven't heard from you for like 4 days, and they show up there, and it's just like, yeah.
I don't remember them saying that he was a patient forever. I don't remember that happening.
But that's how they act. They're like, oh no, you're a patient here, but he never consented to any of it.
He signed his name at the beginning.
Right, but that was like a visitor guest log.
No, I don't think it was. I think if you zoom in and you look at the paper, it was him like signing an admission.
Okay.
I think that they had him from the very beginning.
I think it's a more satisfying narrative, and this is just from Donnie's not an idiot corner here that no one wants to give me money to do anything, so don't listen to me. But hey, this is the show. I'm here on the couch with the microphone. But I do think that would be, wouldn't that be much more satisfying to be like a guy voluntarily signing up for this and then showing and then realizing what the mistake he's done, as opposed to like getting in the car accident, like having to be dragged back to the place, having to, because that's the only reason he's set up as a patient is because he's in a car accident, which is a cool moment. That's a really cool moment, but he's dragged back into the place, and it's not. It's against his will, seemingly. That's how it feels. Like the show.
I don't mind that.
Yeah,
I
that's the only thing I
appreciate your opinion.
dislike. Anyway,
See,
you
but
talk for a while.
I
I've
am
talked
going
too
to.
long. I hate my life. Look at my wig. I'm too pretty.
So the scenes that we would have lost if we went Donnie's way were the fun car crash scene, which I really enjoyed because the whole car crash is really cool. All the different points of view and the glass shattering and Dane DeHaan like spin around and all that stuff.
Yeah, they would have to build a whole rig with a camera to twist them around like that.
That costs a lot of money, I'm sure.
Sure does.
And then at the end of that car crash, as a little like button on the car crash, there's the deer that they hit. It like comes out because it's still alive from the car crash, and it like gimps onto the road, and then it like slowly just dies in the background of this car crash.
The poor deer.
Wasn't that really effective, don't you think?
I know they used those CGI deer in Ring 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was a CGI deer wreck with Naomi Watts in that from Mulholland Drive.
I'm doing what you were doing.
What was I doing? That's what I was doing?
Yeah, I was going to wait till I thought you were going to talk some more, so I was going to do it while you were
No,
talking.
I already gave my piece on it. I just want to hear your perspective of it, because I could sort of divvied up this movie how I thought, I'd like it.
I liked it. I thought it was long. I thought that I really didn't need that not dumb, I guess that was mean. I didn't really need that girl's humming. I understand that she was like mute for her life, and that was a plot point. So I guess maybe like her humming was something about being mute. But it's like her tune that she sings is all in the beginning of the film. And then we first see her, she's humming this tune at the fountain, and then she like hums it some more, and she just like hums that same. And that was the one part to me, like it still felt like a fairy tale. Like I guess it helped in that aspect, but it just kind of, that to me felt like hokey.
Yeah. I enjoyed that. That girl was super creepy. She needs to, definitely dye her eyebrows because they freak me out. But I guess that's that inbred, you come to learn that she's just part of an inbred line of royalty. Which, you got to be weird looking.
Right, of course. So he goes to this mental hospital.
Yes.
He decides to leave, and he gets into a car crash, and he gets taken back. And he can't leave. It's hard for him to leave because his leg is broken.
Yes, and they decide against his will to take care of him. And, he just sort of blindly goes along with all this stuff, which is odd.
Because he's trying to get Pembroke. So
he is constantly trying to get this dude because, ideally they want him out within like 24 hours. But Pembroke seems like he wants to stay. And then later on, he thinks Pembroke is dead, floating in a vat of like some juice.
Some juice. The juice.
The juice is loose. O.J. Simpson, he's out of prison.
But then they take what's her name's bike down to town.
Yeah, and she gets super tired pedaling. You can tell she's just like.
Because it's a mountain. So, like, it's kind of cool, like, going down the mountain, I'm sure. But, like, imagining biking a full-grown man up a mountain.
Yeah, you don't want to go up the mountain. But they do go down the mountain, and they have a nice beer, which looked great. And she did not respect that beer, which is crazy. Because if she's lived for 200 years, she definitely had beer, like, 58 years of her life. And then it sort of went out of style because they had, like, irrigation and shit. But, like, most of her life, all the actual liquid she had was like safe
So
liquids.
We don't think that. How do we actually know that she was? Oh, I think you just saw it. How do we know that she actually? How do we know that she was actually immortal for 200 years? I don't remember that. I must have fallen asleep at that point.
Okay, so the like Baron of the Mountain.
Yeah.
He is the.
Where's the? Oh, she died.
He's the guy that he had his wife.
Yeah.
And there was all those stories that his wife was infertile. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Whatever. The townsfolk come and burn down the thing. That's why his face is burnt off. But the water with whatever sort of nano weird like
Particle.
eel worm
Salt.
creature things are in there. I guess they keep you alive forever for some reason. Don't
there was
understand
a whole
it.
monologue about that. Oh my gosh. No, because there was one point whenever they had the eels and they were pumping them into people's stomach
Right.
and then something, I missed that completely. I thought you were going to see it, but I missed it. They explained it. We didn't watch. We didn't watch it. What was the reasoning? Because it was like
What
the
are you
eels and they went in the stomach and it was like whatever they did inside the stomach dripped out of them and that was like the stuff that helped you. Remember? That was like the medicine, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, I got. See, that's what this movie is.
a lot.
It's so unfocused because it wants to present this like haunted house horror. Going back to Shutter Island because that's like the most successful version of this in modern day, but like it's happened a lot. It's just like what seems to be true is not true and all that stuff. And Pizza the Cat is here officially, everyone. Pizza the Cat is here.
Yeah, it's a lot of really creepy, cool parts mixed in with a lot of background that doesn't really have much of an effect.
And that's I understand that's the tough road to follow and everything. It's like you don't want to tell too much. Right? Like, you don't want to explain everything away because then who wants to watch that? Because it's you just being told what's happening. And then Pizza the Cat's still going at it over there.
He's biting tape off of an extension cord.
He does enjoy tape. We all know that. We all know that. But that's what this type of movie suffers from. Is sometimes you need more exposition, especially when you're dealing with, like, something that is seemingly like evil doctors taking control of this hospital of billionaires and making them sick and controlling them and just being like the masters over these people. Like that's a weird enough thing. But it then goes into like, but if you have like this weird eel worm parasite thing, then you can extract something from them that we don't talk about, but we sort of show it, but like we confuse you with it because someone tries it, but it's like nothing.
Yeah, nothing really happens from that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, you need to really reinforce, like, and good for Gore Verbinski for being like, hey, I'm not going to spoon feed you. I'm just going to tell this story that takes almost 3 hours to tell. Which, like, good for him that he was bold enough to do that, but, like, it gets boring. Like, it does, and that sucks to say because I hate having to cut out things and miss out on things, but, like, you got to get to the point at some point. And then especially when the point is that, like, you're going back, like it's misdirection, like that like anything that involves misdirection you need to keep. You can't let go on forever. You have to have confines to it. You have to have limits to it for it to really work and pay off, instead of it just being like, yeah, just let it go for I don't know 2 hours 45 minutes and then we'll reveal in the last 10 7 minutes that it's, oh no, yeah, my face can fall off because I'm a burn victim and that's my daughter and I'm going to have sex with my daughter and that's what this whole thing was about. And you're like, what are you talking about? This was about this whole other thing for 2.5 hours and now it's about this guy's face melting off having sex with his daughter. And it's just like, I would be on board with this if you set it up better, and I get that they tried to set it up better because every 10 minutes they interject with more of the the master of the prince and his wife, and then the village came up and they were angry, and then it's like, but she was pregnant, and you're like, like it's supposed to be all these unfolding elements, like, oh yes, this D storyline that's in the background. Okay, but then it's revealed to be the whole story, and you're like, oh, I wish I knew that from the beginning. Wouldn't that be good to know?
Yeah, and then all of that coming together just seemed like really silly at the end because the castle burns down again.
Yeah.
So I guess it's like time is a flat circle, history repeats itself, the castle burns down again. But then they get away by you driving the bike. Really cool part that I enjoyed. Dane Hain decides to get out, like he's finally had enough. I can't remember what made him think that, but he decided he had enough, and he cut into his cast.
Yeah.
And that's when he realized that his leg wasn't broken. It was fine the entire time.
Yeah.
So they trapped him there from the car accident so they could heal him, but it was all a big ruse. It was a ruse. So they get down the hill. Dane DeHaan is driving, creepy girl, and then they run into this car, and it's like all of his people that he works with who haven't seen him for 4 days, and they come to save him. But like that also just seemed really weird because for the past whole part of this movie, I was like into this like fantasy world. So it just really didn't seem like I needed to know anything about those people anymore. And they're like, get in the car. And then that's when he was like, no. And then he drives away on the bike. And I liked the bike. I like them biking away because like Dane DeHaan does this really creepy smile at the end towards the camera, and they could have just cut out that whole car interaction and just had him with the creepy thing.
Exactly.
And then the freaking thing on fire in the back there. There was no reason for all these people to fly over to Switzerland.
Bavaria. Anyway. No, yeah, but that's the thing. Like it almost seems like they had an idea of a movie and then they started rewriting it, but then never gave up like this core movie.
Yeah.
Like they're like, what if it's like, this like baron of this like hospital, like it's a castle, but then it's turned into a hospital, but he still lives there like a creepy vampire, and people and they bought it, and Gore Verbinski's like, I love it. And then I forget who made it. This whoever you damn production company came in, and you're like, yeah, but like when we want to make like a fun, like it's already sort of like a mental hospital, it's like, well, it's more like a resort. They're like, yeah, let's make it like a mental hospital. And he's like, well, I don't speak much English, but okay. And then they go like, yeah, we're just going to change like the whole first, I don't know, 4/5 of your script. And he's like, oh, I do not like this, but I am Gore Verbinski, whatever. I like money. And they're like, you're going to get your money, Gore. He's like, is this same as Johnny Depp? They're like, not quite the same. Okay. Is it close to Ring? More than The Ring? Well, I like that. And then they're like, we got a lot of like gimbals to make everything super smooth, all the movements super smooth, especially on a bike. Well, you have any shots you want to shoot? Like, I have many shots on a bike I want to shoot. What about a train? I'll shoot reflections on a train. This is great.
What about a creepy sauna/bathhouse room when the door disappears?
Yeah, great. I have so many tricks. And they're like, we give you all this money, Gore. And he's like, don't call me Gore, call me G. And then, and you're like, all right, G. And it's this whole thing. But then it becomes this metal. You can see just with this description that I'm not even there, how difficult this can be and how muddled these waters can become. And they do. And then Gore's just there like, oh, hopefully they call me for Pirates 8. Where's Keira Knightley? Like, and it just became like odd. Like, it's a really cool movie, and I was super happy watching it because we didn't see it before, and I was happy because I was like, holy shit, like, this is a good movie. Like, the whole time, I'm like, this is a really, really, really good movie. And then by the end of it, you're like, yeah, that was a good movie. But it could have been a great movie. But everything just culminated to, like, oh, okay, that doesn't make any sense, but, like,
Yeah.
oh,
Like,
okay.
there was a lot of time spent, like, also trying to get you to realize that the townspeople were also in on it.
Yeah,
Kinda
like, sort
like-
of, yeah.
She goes to this bar and she has a beer and, like, that's fine if we want to do
Yeah,
that.
that's cool. Like,
And-
yeah, imagine that's the story. She's 200 years old, and it's the first time she left the castle walls.
Right.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, like,
Then
that's cool.
he goes and he talks to this cop, and, like, it turns out because he's trying to get the cop to, like, help him because they're killing people in the thing, and then it turns out that the cop is in on it.
Right. Calls right back up to
And
the.
then they.
Yeah.
So it's like cool little like things that happen, but it's pointless because it didn't really change anything. That them
No.
going to the bar didn't matter.
No, and then seemingly all those CEO people are still just like drinking weird eel water with salt minerals that dry them out and turn them into mummies for some reason. Like,
And there's
and if that's the case, that may like I started thinking like, oh yeah, so they're draining their life essence to make the Baron and his special girl live forever. But there's nothing that they do personally. Like if that was the case, like that's awesome. All these gross billionaire pieces of garbage. Yeah, bring them to the where they're going to relax, but actually we're going to drain you of everything you got. And it's some weird capitalist, like socialist thing. Like, yeah, we're draining the wealthy to give back to this dude. But then he's just draining back to a dude who's a land baron. That's one of the worst sort of like, oligarchy
who also wants to
type
marry
deal.
his daughter.
And that's so crazy too. Like this movie is pretty tame, and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, I'm gonna rip off your dress, like yeah, nudity, and then I'm gonna drill into your like teeth, and it's like this went from PG-13 to incest, rape, instantly. Like this is a PG-13, then it's like, and they went so far to like protect this like young girl, and then I'm like, is she supposed to be like 15 or 30? Like I don't know how old she, but it's like, well, you get to see her naked right now. You're like, whoa, I guess she's, yeah, I hope she's 20 something. Jeez, like, because it's weird because she's kept so innocent and everything. Yeah. Like weird choices.
I guess if you're like technically like 200 years old, age
right.
doesn't really matter
right.
at that point.
Yeah.
So like she could be any age. Like,
yeah, I guess technically she's 194 or something or whatever. But it's so weird too. Like what makes her age? Because they made a big point that she became a woman, which is also weird. Like. I'm not a biologist, but if she had her period, she's what?
I mean,
13?
13 or maybe 12. Some people get it.
Like, 12. Okay. Like, all right.
I mean, I think I'm not scientific, so
weird
I don't really know.
movie, right? Like, weird choices.
Yeah, definitely.
Very weird choices.
Very weird choices. And like there was this one girl who.
Yes.
She was the only one who was like trying to solve this problem, other than Dane DeHaan.
The older lady.
Yeah, and so
she's supposed to be Kathleen Kennedy from Disney.
Oh, are you being serious?
No, but she kind of like has that feel of like, I run this whole place. It's like,
well, okay, so like her.
Maybe that's a wink to.
Her way of like figuring out like what was going on here was by cutting up crossword puzzles from the newspaper and then situating the white squares into her own crossword puzzle, and then filling in the squares into like what would like she would just.
I love
making her own crossword puzzle.
I love the idea of like you understand you've ruined the core element of what a crossword puzzle is by cutting the crossword puzzle out of the paper and just reorganizing it. That's so dumb. But it's like a very it's like, look, I'm discovering. It's like, no, you're not. You're a crazy person just taking apart the blocks and putting it however you want it to be.
And it was also annoying because if you as a person cut out a crossword puzzle, it would be one big piece, or you would have like a bunch of little pieces that were like separated, because there's not like just strips and then strips. You know what I mean? Like you would have to do like multiple crosswords. So like why weren't there any pieces that were like did she have? It was just silly.
No,
it was like pointless. That was also pointless. Why did you have to
and that's what I mean. There's so many and there's such a cool story in here.
Yeah.
Very cool story in here. And it literally is just Dane DeHaan thinking, I'm taking a break to the Swiss Alps. Hey, Pembroke's here. Pembroke got me in as his +1. Sweet. Made it in. Oh, this place is crazy. Who are you? What? You're 13 or 4? Why are you here? Oh, you're saying you're like
she's special.
Super wise and stuff.
Like,
oh yeah, she's so special.
She's a special case.
Well, because she's immortal, I guess.
Well, then just say that. But like that's another thing that I hate. Like, oh, okay, well, we've heard it 3 times. She's a special case, so let's just fucking tell me why she's special. Like,
exactly.
It's like repetitive.
Exactly. There needs to be a build up to anything, but it builds up like everything is kept secret because it thinks it's so much smarter than you, and it's just like no, like that's the isolation tanks, and you thought you saw Pembroke in the isolation tank dead, but like he's alive, right? And it's like, no, you just did that. That's just fake. You're just taking advantage of this. And it's like, you caught me. But it's all these things of nothing follows any sort of rule of a world. Like you gotta set up some sort of rules, and you gotta follow them, or else it becomes pointless. And then the movie then becomes pointless, even though like I still like it. Then that's the problem. Like I watched the whole movie, I'm like, that was an okay movie. But then again, it's like I can see why it failed at the box office, because it didn't have anything like it was solely selling like the Shutter Island type deal of like creepy mystery ring thing horror movie, and it doesn't deliver on any of it, except there are creepy moments that they could have enhanced, but they didn't.
There's one scene that is shown in the trailer, and it's the girl in the bathtub with all the eels.
Right.
And in the trailer, that scene looks super creepy.
That's the thumbnail on the HBO screen.
In the movie, that scene is creepy too, but it's just thrown in there. Like, there's no reason for it. Like, I don't know if it was a dream montage. I think it was actually, but it was just like...
Yeah, it's one of his dreams.
Right, but you think it's going to be something that's so effective because it's in the trailer, it's the HBO, whatever. But it's just... It's
like 8-second weird, surreal dream shot. It's like, hey, Gore, remember when I guess you made music videos? I don't know if you did. And maybe you're a super big fan of David Fincher or something, doing like 9 Inch Nails videos, maybe. But like, yeah, it just is randomly thrown in there and doesn't service the plot at all, and it doesn't make sense. But like, you could make something super cool out of this with all the elements, like, but you just gotta think for more than 2 seconds and then not be influenced by people outside being like, well, we should make it like this. It's like, no, let's make it exactly like this. And and you really want to make this like weird supernatural 200-year-old barren dude, like, then allude to that from the beginning and make it fun, because that's fun. But don't try to hide it up until the end, because it's not satisfying. Like, just because you rip off a dude's face, which is cool, like, I want to see more movies of dudes getting their faces ripped off and it's like a skeleton dude underneath. But like, it's not, you don't build up to it. It's not a payoff. It's just a dude getting his face ripped off, and you're like, oh wow, Dane DeHaan really ripped that dude's face off. That's crazy. And that's all it is. And then he's stumbling around being like, oh, my face. You're like, okay.
There was one thing that they did kind of build up to that I enjoyed a lot was, what's wrong?
We're running out of time.
Well, this is my last thing that I have to say.
Okay.
The one thing that I did really enjoy was when Dane DeHaan takes the medical records down and he like is showing, I guess it was the cop, right? Or no, he's showing like the physician, like the only physician he like works in a slaughterhouse or something.
Sure.
He's showing him like the dental records and all of the teeth were like falling out. And
Yes,
they're like,
yes.
oh, well, this is from severe dehydration
Right.
over chronic severe dehydration. And then when you go back, you realize that all of the patients had lost their teeth. So that's why they have really nice teeth, because the whole
Everyone
movie
gets replaced.
with nice teeth.
Yeah.
Right. So like, but like up until that moment, it looks strange because every rich asshole in that building has, like, when they smile, they have those big white teeth.
Veneers.
They have those big, yeah. So
There's
you can tell,
chomps.
and like in the whole, I want new teeth. So when I was
Me
watching that, I was
too.
like, wow, these teeth are amazing. But then that makes sense. And then Dane DeHaan lost his teeth and then he got new teeth. So that was like a cool thing. That was probably in the original script.
Could be. But all we know is Gore Verbinski needs to stick with those pirate movies.
He doesn't. We don't need any more of those.
I
I'm
need
done.
several more pirate movies. I need to know where Jack Sparrow goes. I need to know where...
Did you see the last one? They just made new Keira Knightley and New Orlando Bloom.
I haven't watched it since the
I didn't
second
watch
one.
it either, so
I honestly don't know if old Jack Sparrow comes back from that Kraken. No spoilers. He knows. Don't you spoil it. Anyway, Cure for Wellness, Dane DeHaan. Your name's just confusing.
I like it, Dane DeHaan.
Dane DeHaan.
I think you should watch this movie, but watch it purely because of the directing.
What I'd say, watch the movie. If you're in a legal state, you know what to do. If you're not, don't do it.
So don't watch it?
All we do is movies.
So don't watch it?